Kiana Baptiste had learned 3 things working the night shift at Russo's diner in Manhattan. Never ask questions, never make eye contact with the wrong people, and never, ever get involved. But when the tall Korean man in the expensive suit left his wallet on table 7, her hands moved before her brain could stop them. "Sir, you forgot your wallet." He turned, and Kiana's breath caught. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that could cut glass, and a neck tattoo that peeked from his collar. A minimalist tiger in black ink. Dong-wook's song. She'd heard the whispers. Everyone in this neighborhood had. His gaze locked on her face, and something flickered in those cold eyes. Recognition. Impossible. They'd never met. "You?" His voice was smooth, accented, dangerous. He stepped closer, and Kiana's pulse hammered. "What's your name?" "Kiana." The word escaped before she could think better of it. His jaw tightened. For a long moment, he simply stared, as if she were a ghost he couldn't believe was real. Then he took the wallet from her trembling hand, his fingers brushing hers. "Thank you, Kiana." He said her name like a prayer and a curse. Then he walked out, leaving her standing there, wondering why the most dangerous man in Manhattan looked at her like she'd just broken his heart. 3 days passed before Dong-wook's song returned to Russo's diner. Kiana noticed him the moment he entered. Hard not to when every head turned and conversations died. He wore another tailored suit, this one charcoal grey, the white shirt underneath open at the collar. 4 buttons undone. The tiger tattoo visible on his neck. He chose the same booth. Table 7. Kiana's co-worker, Maria, grabbed her arm. "Girl, I'll take that table." "No." Kiana surprised herself with the firmness in her voice. "I got it." She approached with her order pad, fighting to keep her hands steady. Up close, he was even more imposing. 6'1", lean muscle, a face that could have been carved from stone. But it was his eyes that held her, dark brown, almost black, watching her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "Coffee," he said, "and whatever you recommend." "The meatloaf is good tonight." Kiana's voice came out steadier than she felt. "Then I'll have that." He paused. "Sit with me. I'm working. I'll pay for your time. I'm not for sale." The corner of his mouth lifted, not quite a smile, but close. "No, I don't imagine you are." He gestured to the empty seat across from him. 5 minutes, please." Something in that please made her glance toward her manager, who was pointedly looking away. Everyone in this diner knew who Dong-wook Song was, what he was. Kiana slid into the booth. "You look like someone I knew," Dong-wook said quietly. "A long time ago." "I get that a lot." It was true. She had one of those faces. Warm brown skin, high cheekbones, full lips. Pretty enough to be memorable, common enough to be mistaken. No. His gaze traced her features with unnerving focus. "You look exactly like her. Same eyes, same smile. Though you haven't smiled yet tonight." He leaned back, and the movement revealed a glimpse of ink beneath his shirt. More tattoos, she realized. "Tell me about yourself, Kiana Baptiste." "How do you know my last name?" I asked. No apology in his tone. Kiana's spine stiffened. "Then you already know everything you need to know. I know you came from Haiti when you were 12. I know your mother died 2 years ago. I know you work 3 jobs and live in a studio apartment in Washington Heights that costs more than you can afford." His voice remained calm, factual. "I know you're tired. I know you're alone. And I know that wallet you returned to me contained enough cash to change your life, but you didn't take a single bill." Heat flooded Kiana's face, anger and something else. "You had me investigated." "Yes. Why?" "Because you have her face." Dong-wook's mask cracked for just a moment, and Kiana saw something raw underneath. Pain, old and deep. "And I need to know if you're real, or if I'm losing my mind." Kiana stood abruptly. "I'm real. I'm also done with this conversation." "Wait." He reached across the table but didn't touch her. "I'm sorry. I'm not good at this." He exhaled, and for a second he looked almost human. "Let me start again. My name is Dong-wook. I'd like to know you better. That's all." "Why?" "Because 3 days ago you were kind to me when you didn't have to be. Because you looked me in the eye when everyone else looks away. Because—" He stopped, jaw working. "Because I can't stop thinking about you." Kiana's heart did something stupid and hopeful. She crushed it down. "You don't know anything about me. Then let me learn. I know what you are." She kept her voice low. "What you do. Yes. No denial, no excuse. Does that frighten you?" "It should. But it doesn't." Kiana hated that he was right. She'd grown up in Port-au-Prince, where gangs controlled the streets. She'd seen violence, corruption, men who took what they wanted. She'd learned to recognize predators, and Dongwook Song was definitely a predator. But when he looked at her, she didn't feel hunted. She felt seen. "One dinner," Dongwook said. "Somewhere public, somewhere safe. If you hate it, I'll never bother you again. And if I say no, then I'll still never bother you again." He pulled a business card from his wallet, the same wallet she'd returned, and placed it on the table. "But I hope you'll say yes." Kiana stared at the card. Simple, expensive, just his name and a phone number. "I need to get back to work," she said, leaving the card where it lay. But when her shift ended at 2 a.m., when she was walking to the subway through streets that were too dark and too empty, she pulled that card from her apron pocket. She'd taken it after all. The text message came at noon the next day. Saturday, 7 p.m. "I'll send a car." Kiana stared at her phone. She hadn't given him her number. "How did you get this?" she typed back. "I told you. I asked. That's creepy." "Yes." Despite herself, Kiana smiled. At least he was honest. "Where are we going? Somewhere you'll like. Trust me, I don't trust you." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, smart. But come anyway. Kiana should have said no, should have blocked the number, thrown away the card, forgotten the way his eyes had softened when he said her name. Instead, she typed, "One dinner. That's all. That's all I'm asking." Saturday arrived too quickly. Kiana changed outfits 4 times before settling on a simple black dress that hugged her curves without being too revealing. She'd flat-ironed her natural curls into submission, then immediately regretted it. She looked like she was trying too hard. At 6:55 p.m., a sleek black car pulled up outside her building. The driver, so serious-looking Korean man in his 30s, opened the door without a word. Kiana slid inside, her heart racing. They drove through Manhattan, heading downtown. Kiana expected some exclusive restaurant, the kind where reservations took months. Instead, they stopped in Koreatown outside a small, unassuming building with Korean characters above the door. Dongwook was waiting outside, and Kiana's breath caught. He wore dark jeans and a fitted black shirt. Casual, but the clothes probably cost more than her monthly rent. The tiger tattoo on his neck seemed more prominent tonight, fierce and beautiful. "You came," he said, and she heard genuine relief in his voice. "You sound surprised." "Honestly, I am." He offered his arm. "Come, there's someone I want you to meet." The restaurant was small, warm, filled with the scent of grilled meat and spices. An elderly Korean woman emerged from the kitchen, her face lighting up when she saw Dongwook. They spoke in rapid Korean, and the woman kept glancing at Kiana with curious, bright eyes. Then she said something that made Dongwook's jaw tighten. "What did she say?" Kiana asked. "She said you're beautiful. She said I should marry you before someone else does." His ears were slightly red. "She's blunt. She's your mother, grandmother." Dongwook guided Kiana to a private table in the back. "This was her restaurant, where I grew up. She taught me everything, how to cook, how to fight, how to survive." His expression softened. "She's the only person in this world who still sees me as human." Kiana's chest tightened at the loneliness in those words. The grandmother returned with plates of food, galbi, kimchi, bangkan, and refused to let them pay. She pinched Dongwook's cheek, said something else in Korean that made him actually smile, and disappeared back into the kitchen. "She likes you," Dongwook said. "She never likes anyone I bring here." "How many women have you brought here?" "Before tonight? None." Kiana picked up her chopsticks, watching him. "You said I look like someone. Who?" Dongwook's smile faded. He was quiet for a long moment, and Kiana thought he wouldn't answer. Then, "My sister, Hannah. You have her eyes, the shape, the warmth, her smile." His voice went rough. She died 15 years ago. I was 17. She was 12. I'm sorry. She would have liked you. Dongwook met Kiana's gaze. That first night when you returned my wallet, when you looked at me without fear, you smiled. Just for a second. And I saw her. It felt like being stabbed and healed at the same time. Kiana set down her chopsticks. Is that why you want to know me? Because I remind you of her? At first, maybe. Dongwook's honesty was brutal. But Kiana appreciated it. But then you called me creepy and told me you weren't for sale, and took my card even though you said you wouldn't. You're stubborn and proud and completely unimpressed by me. That's all you, not her. Good, Kiana said, because I'm not interested in being someone's ghost. Good, Dongwook echoed, because I'm not interested in dating one. They ate, and somewhere between the food and the conversation, Kiana felt herself relaxing. Dongwook was surprisingly easy to talk to, intelligent, funny when he wanted to be, with a dry wit that caught her off guard. He asked about Haiti, about her mother, about her dreams, and actually listened to the answers. When the meal ended, he walked her to the car, but before she got in, he caught her hand. Kiana. His thumb brushed across her knuckles, sending electricity up her arm. I need you to understand something. My world is dangerous. Getting close to me puts you at risk. If you want to walk away right now, I'll understand. I'll make sure you're safe always, but I won't contact you again. Kiana looked at their joined hands, her honey-brown skin against his. And if I don't walk away, then I'm going to do everything in my power to make you mine. The possessiveness in his voice should have scared her. Instead, it sent heat pooling in her stomach. One more date, she said. Let's see how it goes. Dongwook's smile was slow, devastating. One more date. But as the car pulled away, Kiana saw his expression shift, his eyes tracking something in the shadows. His phone was already at his ear, his voice sharp with command. She'd agreed to see him again, she just hoped she'd live to regret it. The flowers arrived Monday morning, a massive arrangement of tropical blooms, vibrant and expensive. The card read simply, "Thank you for Saturday." Kiana's roommate Marielle whistled low. "Girl, who's got money like this?" "Nobody important," Kiana lied, burying her nose in the flowers. They smelled like home, Haiti, before everything fell apart. Her phone buzzed. "Did they arrive?" "They're beautiful. Too much. Nothing is too much for you." Kiana's heart did that stupid fluttering thing again. Smooth talker. Only with you. Over the next week, Dongwook texted her daily. Never pushy, never demanding. Just small glimpses into his day. A photo of his grandmother's kimchi recipe. A complaint about a business meeting. A question about her favorite music. She found herself responding more than she should, sharing more than was safe. "Second date," he finally asked on Thursday. "Where?" "Somewhere you can see the real me. If you're brave enough. I'm from Haiti. Try me." "Tomorrow night. Wear something you can move in." Kiana should have been nervous. Instead, she felt alive in a way she hadn't since her mother died. The car picked her up at 8. This time they drove to a warehouse in Queens, industrial, slightly run down, surrounded by chain-link fence. "If you're planning to murder me, this is very on the nose," Kiana said when Dongwook met her at the entrance. He laughed, actually laughed, and the sound transformed his face. "No murder tonight, I promise." Inside, the warehouse had been converted into a training facility, boxing ring, weight equipment, mats covering the floor, and a dozen men, all Korean, all watching her with varying degrees of curiosity and suspicion. "This is where I train," Dongwook said, "where my men train. I wanted you to see this part of my life. Not the suits and the restaurants, the real foundation." One of the men approached, early 40s, scarred face, calculating eyes. He spoke to Dongwook in Korean, gesturing at Kiana. The tone was disapproving. "English, Taemin," Dongwook said coolly. "It's rude." Taemin's smile didn't reach his eyes. "I said, bringing outsiders here is dangerous, especially..." He paused, gaze raking over Kiana. "Beautiful distractions." "And I said she's not an outsider. She's with me, that makes her untouchable." Dongwook's voice went cold. "Understood?" Taemin bowed slightly, but Kiana caught the resentment simmering beneath. This man wasn't an ally. Dongwook guided her away, tension radiating from his frame. "I'm sorry about him. He's been with me since the beginning. Loyal, but old-fashioned. He doesn't like that I'm black, Kiana said bluntly. He doesn't like that I'm interested in anyone. Thinks it makes me weak. Dongwook's jaw tightened. He's wrong. Show me what you do here, Kiana said, changing the subject. For the next hour she watched Dongwook spar, brutal, efficient, beautiful in its violence. He moved like water, like death. And Kiana couldn't look away. This was the predator she'd sensed that first night. This was who he really was. When he finished, breathing hard, sweat making his shirt cling to his chest, he found her watching. Scared yet? He asked. No. Kiana surprised herself with the truth. Impressed. Something heated in his gaze. Your turn. I don't fight. I'll teach you. He held out his hand. Basic self-defense. Every woman in this city should know it. Against her better judgment, Kiana let him lead her to the mats. He showed her how to break a hold, how to strike vulnerable points, how to use an attacker's momentum against them. His hands were patient on her shoulders, her wrists adjusting her stance. Each touch was professional, careful, but Kiana felt it like fire. Good, he murmured, his breath warm against her ear. Now if someone grabs you from behind. He demonstrated, arms circling her waist loosely. Kiana's pulse jumped. You drop your weight, elbow back, then... She moved instinctively, breaking his hold and spinning. They ended up chest to chest, her hand on his shoulder, his arm around her waist. Time stopped. Fast learner, Dongwook said, voice rough. Good teacher, Kiana managed. They stood there breathing the same air, and Kiana knew if she tilted her head up, if she closed those last few inches, he would kiss her. She could see it in the way his gaze dropped to her lips, the way his fingers tightened almost imperceptibly on her hip. Someone cleared their throat loudly. The moment shattered. Dongwook stepped back, composure sliding back into place like armor. But Kiana saw his hands flex at his sides, saw the tension in his shoulders. Dinner? He asked. Starving, she admitted. They ate at a hole-in-the-wall Korean BBQ place, cooking meat at their table. Dongwook taught her how to wrap the beef in lettuce, how to mix the sauces. His grandmother's lessons, he explained, passed down. You grew up here? Kiana asked. In New York? Seoul until I was 10. Then my father brought us here, my mother, Hana, and me. He had business opportunities. Dongwook's expression darkened. He was Jopok in Korea, organized crime. He thought America would be easier. It wasn't. What happened? He made enemies, powerful ones. When I was 17, they came for him. Dongwook's voice went flat. Killed my parents. Would have killed me and Hana, but I fought. Killed 3 of them. Wasn't enough. They shot Hana while I watched. Kiana's breath caught. Dongwook. I hunted them down. Every single one. Took me 2 years, but I found them. He met her eyes and she saw the monster underneath. I made them suffer. Then I took their territory, their business, their power. Built an empire on their graves, and I've spent 15 years making sure no one ever hurts my people again. Is that what I am? Kiana asked quietly. Your people? I'm trying to figure that out. Dongwook reached across the table, covering her hand with his. All I know is that walking away from you feels impossible, and I don't do impossible. Kiana should have pulled away, should have run from this man who spoke casually about murder, who commanded fear, who lived in violence. Instead, she turned her hand over, lacing their fingers together. I lost my mother to cholera, she said. We couldn't afford treatment, couldn't get her to a hospital in time. I watched her die over 3 days, and there was nothing I could do. Her voice cracked. I came to America because she wanted me to have a better life. But it's just survival here. Different kind of death, slower, but just as certain. No. Dongwook's grip tightened. You're alive, Kiana. You're strong. You're tired, she finished. I'm so tired, Dongwook, and you're dangerous and complicated, and I should absolutely stay away from you. But when I'm with you, I feel something other than exhausted. I feel alive, he said. Yes. They sat there, hands joined across the table, 2 broken people finding something unexpected in each other. I can't promise you safety, Dongwook said. I can't promise you normal, but I can promise you this. While you're with me, no one will hurt you, no one will take from you, and you will never be alone again. That's a big promise. I don't make promises I can't keep. Kiana believed him. Maybe that made her foolish, but she believed him anyway. When he drove her home that night, he walked her to her door. They stood in the dingy hallway, too close, not close enough. "Thank you for tonight," Kiana said. "Thank you for not running. I'm thinking about it." "I know." Dongwook tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his touch gentle. "Think fast, because I'm running out of patience." He left before she could respond, before she could close that distance and find out what his mouth tasted like. Kiana leaned against her door, heart racing. Her phone buzzed. "Sweet dreams, Kiana." She smiled. "You too, dangerous man. Only to my enemies, never to you." As she got ready for bed, Kiana noticed something on her kitchen counter. An envelope, thick and unmarked. Inside, cash, enough to cover 3 months of rent. A note in precise handwriting. "Not charity. Consider it payment for the self-defense lesson. You're a natural." Kiana should have been insulted, should have returned it. Instead, she cried, overwhelmed, grateful, terrified of how much she was starting to care about Dongwook Song. In his penthouse across the city, Dongwook stared at his phone, waiting for her angry text. It never came. What came instead was a photo. Kiana holding the envelope, eyes bright with unshed tears, and a message. This was too much. But thank you for seeing me. Dongwook's chest tightened. "I see you, Kiana Baptiste, all of you. And I'm not looking away." He meant it. Even when Tae Min entered his office an hour later, expression grim. "We have a problem," his lieutenant said. "Marcus DeLuca has been asking about the girl, the Haitian you've been seen with. Marcus DeLuca, rival, enemy, the one man in New York who could actually threaten Dongwook's empire." "He knows her name?" Dongwook's voice was deadly calm. "He knows everything. Where she works, where she lives, he's watching her." Dongwook's fist slammed into the desk, cracking the wood. "Double her security. I want eyes on her 24/7. If DeLuca gets within a block of her—" "With respect, sir," Tae Min interrupted, "the easiest solution is to end this. Distance yourself from the girl. She's a liability." "She's not a liability. She's—" Dongwook stopped, jaw working. "What?" Tae Min pressed. "What is she to you?" "Mine," Dongwook said simply. "She's mine, and I protect what's mine." But as Tae Min left, Dongwook stared out at the city lights, fear icing his veins for the first time in years. He'd brought Kiana into his world. Now his world was going to swallow her whole. Kiana noticed the car on Tuesday. Black sedan, tinted windows, parked across from Russo's diner. It was there when she arrived for her shift, there when she left at midnight. She told herself she was paranoid. By Thursday, she knew better. The same car followed her to her cleaning job in Midtown. Different driver, same dead-eyed stare when she glanced back. Kiana's hands shook as she texted Dongwook, "Someone's following me." His response was immediate. "I know, they're mine, keeping you safe. From what? From people who would hurt you to hurt me." Kiana's stomach dropped. "This is because of you. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm handling it." "How?" "Don't ask questions you don't want answered." Kiana wanted to throw her phone. Instead, she called him. He answered on the first ring. "Kiana, you put security on me without asking." Her voice shook with anger and fear. "Without even telling me. Would you have said yes if I asked? Oh, that's not the point. The point," Dongwook said, voice hard, "is that Marcus DeLuca is a dead man who doesn't know it yet. The point is that he's been watching you, learning your routine, and I will not let him touch you." "Who is Marcus DeLuca?" "My problem, not yours. If he's watching me, he's my problem too." Kiana ducked into an empty office, lowering her voice. "You said you wanted me to see the real you. This is it, isn't it? The danger you warned me about." Silence. Then, "Yes." "So what do we do?" "We." Something shifted in his tone. "You're not running." "I'm from Port-au-Prince, remember? I've dealt with gangsters before." Kiana's laugh was shaky, though usually I was better at avoiding them. "You're clearly a bad influence." "The worst," Dongwook agreed. "Kiana, I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" She thought about his hands teaching her self-defense. his grandmother's warm smile, the way he looked at her like she was precious, breakable, worth protecting. "Yes," she said. "I trust you. Then stay vigilant. Don't go anywhere alone. My men will keep their distance, but they're there. And tomorrow night I'm coming to get you. We need to talk, face to face." "Okay, okay," he echoed. "Kiana, I won't let anyone hurt you, I promise." After they hung up, Kiana sagged against the wall. She'd known getting involved with Dongwook was dangerous. She just hadn't expected danger to arrive so quickly. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Pretty girl, shame about the company you keep." Ice flooded her veins. She forwarded it to Dongwook immediately. His response was a single word: address. She sent her location. Within minutes, 3 cars surrounded the building. Dongwook himself strode through the lobby, rage radiating from every line of his body. He found her in the empty office, and his expression cracked when he saw her face. "Did he touch you?" His hands framed her face, searching for injury. "No, just the text." Kiana's voice wobbled. "How did he get my number?" "I'll find out." Dongwook pulled her against his chest, and Kiana let herself sink into his warmth. "You're coming with me. Now, I'm not leaving you exposed. I have work. I'll handle it." His arms tightened around her. "Please, Kiana, let me protect you." She nodded against his chest, breathing in his scent, expensive cologne and something darker, more dangerous. Dongwook's penthouse was in Tribeca, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture, expensive art on the walls. It was beautiful and cold, lacking the warmth of his grandmother's restaurant. "You can stay here as long as needed," he said, showing her to a guest room. "There's security at every entrance. DeLuca can't reach you here." "And what about you?" Kiana asked. "What are you going to do?" "What I do best." His expression was carved from stone. "Eliminate threats." "You're going to kill him?" "Yes." The casual way he said it should have horrified her. Maybe it did. But Kiana also remembered that text, the implied threat, and felt a savage satisfaction. "Be careful," she said instead. Dongwook's eyes widened slightly. "You're not going to try to stop me?" "Would it work if I did?" "No." "Then I won't waste my breath." Kiana stepped closer, reaching up to trace the tiger tattoo on his neck. His pulse jumped beneath her fingers. "But come back in one piece. We still have things to figure out." "Kiana." Her name was rough in his throat. "You undo me." "Good. You're too controlled anyway." He caught her hand, pressing a kiss to her palm that sent heat spiraling through her. "When this is over. When this is over, we'll talk," she said. "About what this is, what we are." "I already know what you are." His thumb brushed across her knuckles. "You're mine. Possessive. Honest." He released her hand with visible reluctance. "Get some rest. I'll be back before morning." "Dongwook?" He paused at the door. "Don't die, I'd be really annoyed." His laugh was unexpected, genuine. "Yes, ma'am." Then he was gone, and Kiana was alone in a penthouse that cost more than she'd earn in 10 lifetimes, waiting for a gangster to come home from murder. Her life had gotten very strange. Kiana couldn't sleep. She wandered the penthouse, studying the art. All Korean artists, she realized. Landscapes of soul, portraits of fierce warriors, abstract pieces that spoke of violence and beauty intertwined. In Dongwook's office, she found photos. Him as a teenager, all sharp edges and angry eyes, standing beside a young girl with a brilliant smile. Hana. The resemblance was there, something in the eyes, the warmth Kiana sometimes caught in mirrors. Another photo, Dongwook with his grandmother, both of them laughing. He looked younger, lighter, almost happy. "You weren't supposed to see those." Kiana spun. Dongwook stood in the doorway, shirt splattered with blood that definitely wasn't his. She should have been frightened. Instead, she felt relief so intense it made her knees weak. "You're back," she breathed. "I said I would be." He moved toward her, stopping just short of touching. "DeLuca won't bother you again. Neither will anyone else. I made sure they understood the consequences. You're covered in blood. I know, I'll shower. I just needed to see you first, needed to know you were safe." Kiana reached out, fingers hovering over his cheek. "Can I?" "Yes." The word was barely audible. She cupped his face, feeling the tension in his jaw, the warmth of his skin. "Thank you for protecting me. Always." His eyes closed. "Kiana, I need you to understand something. This life, my life, it's always going to be like this. Threats, violence, danger. If you stay with me, you'll never be completely safe." "No one's ever completely safe," Kiana said. "I watched my mother die because we couldn't afford medicine. I've been held up at gunpoint twice since I came to America. Safety is an illusion." She stroked her thumb across his cheekbone. "But with you I feel less alone. That's worth the risk." Dongwook's eyes opened, and what she saw there stole her breath. "You're extraordinary. I'm practical. You're perfect." He caught her hand, pressing it harder against his face. "I don't deserve you." "Probably not," Kiana smiled. "But I'm choosing you anyway, for now." "For now," he agreed. "I'll take it." He stepped back, breaking the contact. "I should shower, get the blood off before you scare me?" Kiana raised an eyebrow. "Dongwook, I've seen violence before. I'm not fragile." "I know, but I want to be clean for you, want to be better." The vulnerability in his admission made her chest ache. "Go shower. I'll still be here when you're done." He left, and Kiana sank into his desk chair, adrenaline finally catching up with her. She'd just essentially given her blessing to murder. She was staying in a gangster's penthouse. She was falling for a man who solved problems with violence. Her mother would have been horrified, or would she? Her mother had been practical too. Survival first, morality second. In Port-au-Prince, you did what you had to do. Maybe America wasn't so different after all. When Dongwook emerged from the shower, hair damp and wearing fresh clothes, he found Kiana curled up on his couch, asleep. She'd wrapped herself in one of his jackets, and the sight of her, small and vulnerable in his space, made something in his chest crack open. He draped a blanket over her, then settled into the chair across from the couch, content to watch her breathe. This woman, this impossible, stubborn, brave woman who should have run but stayed instead. He was in so much trouble. Kiana woke to sunlight streaming through massive windows and the smell of coffee. For a disoriented moment she forgot where she was. Then memory returned, the threat, the blood, Dongwook's penthouse. She found him in the kitchen, cooking. He'd rolled up his sleeves and she could see more tattoos winding up his forearms, Korean characters, geometric patterns, a dragon's tail disappearing under the fabric. "You cook?" she asked, making him turn. His smile was soft, unguarded in the morning light. "My grandmother insisted, said any man who can't feed himself is useless." He gestured to the spread. Eggs, rice, kimchi, fruit. "Hungry?" "Starving." They ate in comfortable silence, and Kiana marveled at how natural this felt. Domestic, normal, despite everything that was absolutely not normal about their situation. "I need to go to work," she said finally. "I have a shift at the diner. I called, told them you were sick." At her glare, Dongwook raised his hands. "Temporary, just today, until we're sure DeLuca's people have gotten the message." "What message exactly?" "That you're untouchable. That anyone who threatens you answers to me." His expression hardened. 3 of his men won't be making that mistake again." 3, Kiana repeated. "You killed 3 people last night. For me?" "Yes." No hesitation. No remorse. Kiana set down her chopsticks. "Doesn't that bother you, taking lives?" "It used to." Dongwook met her gaze steadily. "When I was younger, after Hana died, every death haunted me. I saw their faces in my sleep. But over time, I learned something. In my world, it's kill or be killed. Hesitation means death, yours or someone you love." He leaned forward. "So no, it doesn't bother me anymore. Not when I'm protecting what's mine. That's cold. That's survival." He paused. "Does it bother you? What I am?" Kiana considered lying, decided on truth instead. It should terrify me. But I keep thinking about that text, the threat, and I'm just grateful, relieved. You made me safe, and you didn't hesitate." She laughed shakily. "What does that say about me? That you're a survivor too?" Dongwook reached across the table, covering her hand. "That you understand sometimes the world doesn't give us clean choices, only necessary ones." They stayed like that, hands joined, Two people from broken worlds, finding unexpected understanding. Kiana's phone shattered the moment. Maria calling from the diner. "Girl, where are you?" her co-worker demanded. "There's a man here looking for you. Says his name is Taimin. Says he works with your boyfriend?" Kiana's gaze shot to Dong-wook, who was already on his feet, tension radiating from him. "Tell him I'll be right there," Kiana said, then hung up. "Your lieutenant is at the diner looking for me," Dong-wook cursed in Korean. "He shouldn't know you're there. I didn't tell anyone." His jaw clenched. "Stay here, I'll handle this." "No." Kiana stood, squaring her shoulders. "If he's looking for me, I want to know why. I'm coming with you." "Kiana? You wanted me to see your world, remember? This is part of it." She grabbed her jacket. "Let's go." The drive to the diner was tense, Dong-wook making rapid calls in Korean. Whatever his men were telling him, it wasn't good. They found Taemin sitting at table 7, Dong-wook's usual spot. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. "Sir." Taemin stood when they entered, bowing slightly. His gaze flicked to Kiana with barely concealed disapproval. "We need to talk, privately." "Anything you say to me, you can say in front of Kiana." Dong-wook's voice was steel. Taemin's mouth tightened. "Very well. The other families are concerned about your recent actions. DeLuca was connected to the Russians. His death has caused complications." "Manageable complications." "Perhaps." Taemin's gaze moved to Kiana again. "But they're questioning your judgment, saying you're distracted, that you've become weak over a woman." "Weak," Dong-wook repeated softly, dangerously. Their words, not mine. But Taemin's tone said otherwise. "They're demanding a meeting, want to discuss when restructuring leadership changes." The threat was obvious. Kiana felt her stomach drop. "Let them try," Dong-wook said. "Schedule the meeting. I'll remind them exactly why I'm in charge." Taemin bowed again and left, but not before giving Kiana one last measuring look. She saw calculation in his eyes, and something else, opportunity. When they were alone, Kiana turned to Dong-wook. "He wants your position." "He's wanted it for years." Dong-wook rubbed his face tiredly. "He's been loyal because I'm strong, but now, because of you, they see weakness, see a man who can be compromised." "So this is my fault?" Kiana's voice went flat. "No." Dong-wook caught her shoulders, forcing her to look at him. "This is their miscalculation. They think caring about you makes me weak. They're wrong. It makes me lethal." His grip tightened. "Anyone who threatens you will learn the difference. You can't fight your entire organization. Watch me." "Dong-wook." Kiana placed her hands on his chest, feeling his heart hammer beneath her palms. "What if I'm not worth it? What if you are?" His certainty was absolute. "You're worth everything, Kiana, everything." Her breath caught. "You barely know me." "I know enough." He cupped her face, thumbs stroking her cheekbones. "I know you're brave and kind and stubborn. I know you see me, not the boss, not the criminal, but me, the man underneath." His voice dropped. "I know that I haven't felt this alive, this human since before Hana died. You did that, you brought me back." "Dong-wook." Kiana's eyes burned. "I'm falling for you," he said simply, "fast and hard and completely. If that makes me weak, then I'm weak, but I won't apologize for it." Kiana rose on her toes, closing the distance between them. "Then I guess we're both weak," she whispered against his lips, "because I'm falling too." The kiss was inevitable, necessary. His mouth found hers, gentle at first, then deepening as she opened for him. Kiana's hands slid into his hair, pulling him closer, and he made a sound low in his throat that sent heat flooding through her. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Dong-wook rested his forehead against hers. "We should stop," he murmured. "Probably. My men are right outside." "I know." Neither of them moved. "Kiana." Her name was a plea and a promise. "Come home with me. Let me show you—" His phone rang. He ignored it. It rang again. With a curse, he answered, listened. His expression went cold. "When?" A pause. "I'm on my way." He hung up, jaw tight. "There's been an incident. Taemin's faction is moving faster than I expected. I need to handle this now." "Go," Kiana said, even though everything in her screamed to hold on to him. I'll have someone take you back to the penthouse. You'll be safe there. I know. He kissed her again, quick and fierce. This isn't over. When I get back, we're finishing this conversation. I'll be waiting. But as Dong-wook left, flanked by his men, Kiana felt dread settle in her bones. Something was about to go very wrong. Hours later, alone in the penthouse, Kiana paced. Dong-wook wasn't answering his phone. Neither were his men. The news broke at 11 p.m., shooting in Queens, multiple casualties, police investigating ties to organized crime. Kiana's hands shook as she dialed Dong-wook's number again. Voicemail. The door burst open. Kiana spun, heart in her throat, but it was only Dong-wook's grandmother, escorted by 2 guards. "You need to come," the old woman said in accented English, her face pale. "Now. Dong-wook is hurt." The world tilted. How bad? Bad enough. The grandmother grabbed Kiana's hand. "He's asking for you. Come." They rushed to a private clinic in Koreatown, the kind that didn't report gunshot wounds. Dong-wook was on a table, shirt cut away, blood everywhere. But he was alive, conscious. His eyes found hers, and relief flooded his face. "Kiana." She pushed past the doctor, taking his hand. "What happened?" "Ambush. Tae-min's men." He coughed, wincing. Should have seen it coming. "Where is he now?" "Dead." Dong-wook's smile was grim. "I made sure of it before I passed out." "You idiot." Tears streamed down Kiana's face. "You promised me you'd be careful." "I was careful. That's why I'm alive." His thumb brushed across her knuckles. "Told you I'd come back." "In pieces doesn't count. I'm all here, just slightly punctured." Despite everything, Kiana laughed through her tears. "You're impossible. And you're here." Wonder in his voice. "You stayed." "Of course I stayed." She leaned down, kissing his forehead. "We have conversations to finish, remember?" "Conversations," Dong-wook repeated. "Right, Kiana. Yes? When I heal, when this is over, will you consider being with me, really with me, not just figuring things out, actually trying?" Kiana looked at this man, dangerous, powerful, broken, and somehow hers. "Yes," she said, "I'll try." His smile was brighter than any light in the room. 3 weeks later, Kiana stood on the balcony of Dong-wook's penthouse. Their penthouse now, though she still had her apartment. Just in case. "You're thinking too loud," Dong-wook said, stepping up behind her. His arms came around her waist, chin resting on her shoulder. The stitches were out, the wounds healing into scars that would match the others on his body. "I'm thinking about how strange my life has become," Kiana admitted, leaning back against him. "A month ago, I was just trying to survive. Now I'm dating a Korean mob boss in Manhattan. My mother would either be horrified or impressed." "Which do you think?" "Both." She turned in his arms. "Definitely both." Since the shooting, things had shifted. With Tae-min dead and his faction dismantled, Dong-wook's position was more secure, but the other families were watching, waiting to see if the woman who'd weakened him would be his downfall. Kiana refused to be anyone's weakness. She'd started training seriously at the warehouse. Self-defense had evolved into genuine combat skills. The men who'd initially mocked her now gave grudging respect when she sparred. She wasn't Dong-wook's soft spot anymore. She was becoming dangerous in her own right. "I have something for you," Dong-wook said, pulling a small box from his pocket. Kiana's heart jumped. "If that's a ring, it's way too soon." "It's not a ring." He opened it, revealing a delicate gold necklace with a small tiger pendant. "It matches my tattoo. I had it made for you." "Dong-wook." She touched the pendant carefully. "It's beautiful. It's a symbol. In my world, jewelry like this means something. It says you're under my protection, that you're mine." He met her eyes. "If you wear it, everyone will know. There's no taking it back. And if I don't want to be owned, you're not owned. You're choosing me the same way I'm choosing you." He took the necklace out, holding it up. "So, will you wear it?" Kiana turned, lifting her hair. "Put it on." His hands were gentle as he clasped it around her neck. The tiger settled against her collarbone, warm from his touch. "How does it look?" she asked. "Perfect." He kissed the side of her neck, just above the pendant. "You look perfect." Kiana turned back to face him, playing with the tiger charm. "Your grandmother says you've never brought a woman around before, never introduced anyone to the family." "I haven't." "Why me?" "Because you're the first person in 15 years who made me want to." Dong-wook cupped her face. "You make me want things I thought I'd never have. Normal things, simple things, coming home to someone who actually cares if I'm alive." "I care," Kiana said softly. "Probably more than I should." "Not possible." He leaned down, and she rose to meet him halfway. The kiss was different from before, less desperate, more certain, a promise being made without words. When they broke apart, Kiana was breathless. "Stay tonight," Dong-wook murmured against her lips. "No pressure. Just stay." "I've been staying here for 2 weeks. I mean really stay. In my room, with me." Kiana's pulse jumped. "Dong-wook, just sleeping," he clarified, though his eyes said he wanted more. "I just want to hold you. Wake up with you. That's all." "That's a big step." "I know." His thumb brushed across her bottom lip. "But I'm tired of sleeping alone. Tired of pretending I don't want you in my bed, in my space, in my life completely. So I'm asking, will you stay?" Kiana thought about all the reasons she should say no. They'd only been dating 3 weeks. She barely knew him, really. He was a criminal. Her mother would be horrified. But she also thought about the way he made her laugh, how safe she felt in his arms, the gentle way he taught her to fight, the patience he showed when she struggled with Korean phrases, his grandmother's warm acceptance, the way his face softened when he looked at her, like she was something precious. "Yeah," she said, "I'll stay." That night, Kiana lay in Dong-wook's bed wearing one of his shirts, her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. His fingers traced lazy patterns on her arm, and she'd never felt more content. "Tell me about your mother," Dong-wook said quietly. "What was she like?" Kiana smiled against his chest. Strong, stubborn. "She used to say I got my attitude from her." Her voice thickened. "She worked so hard, you know. 3 jobs, sometimes 4. Always making sure I had food, clothes, school supplies. She never complained. Just kept going. She'd be proud of you." "I don't know. I'm sleeping with a gangster. That's not exactly the American dream she wanted for me. You're surviving, thriving, building a life on your own terms." Dong-wook's arms tightened around her. "That is the American dream, just not the sanitized version. When did you get so wise?" "When I met you. You make me think about things differently. Question what I want from life." He paused. "I'm considering going legitimate. Eventually. Not now. There are things I need to finish first. But someday. For you." Kiana pushed up to look at him. "Don't change for me. I knew what you were when I agreed to this. Not changing, evolving." He tucked her hair behind her ear. "You make me want to be better, that's all. You're already better than you think." "I've killed people, Kiana. Many people." "I know." "Doesn't that bother you?" "Yes," she admitted. "But it doesn't change how I feel about you. Doesn't change that I'm here, willingly, choosing you despite everything." She traced the tiger on his neck. "I'm not naive, I know what you are, but I also know you protected me when you didn't have to, that you're kind to your grandmother, that you cry at Korean dramas when you think no one's watching. You saw that?" His ears went red. "You're not as scary as you think, Dong-wook Song. I'm terrifying. You're a marshmallow with a dangerous exterior." He flipped her onto her back, hovering over her with a wicked grin. "Take that back. Make me." He kissed her instead, deep and thorough and full of promise. When he finally pulled back, they were both breathing hard. "We should stop," Kiana whispered, even as her hands slid under his shirt. "Probably." His mouth found her neck. "Tell me to stop and I will." But Kiana didn't want him to stop. She wanted this, wanted him, consequences be damned. "Don't stop," she breathed. He didn't. Later, much later, they lay tangled together in the darkness. Kiana traced the scars on his chest. There were so many, and felt tears prick her eyes. "Hey." Dong-wook tilted her chin up. "What's wrong?" "You could have died. So many times. Could have died before I met you. and I would never have known you existed. But I didn't. I'm here, with you. For how long? The fear she'd been suppressing finally surfaced. How long until someone else comes after you, until I lose you the way you lost Hannah? Kiana, I'm not strong enough for that. I barely survived losing my mother. If I lost you... She couldn't finish. Dongwook pulled her close, pressing his lips to her forehead. You won't lose me, I'm too stubborn to die, and I finally have something worth living for. He made her look at him. I can't promise you forever. No one can. But I can promise you today and tomorrow and every day after that I'm still breathing. Is that enough? Kiana thought about her mother's lessons, about survival and practicality, and taking happiness where you found it. Yes, she said, it's enough. They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, two broken people choosing to be whole together. The next morning, Kiana woke to find Dongwook already awake, watching her with soft eyes. Creepy, she mumbled. Beautiful, he countered. I'm memorizing this. You, in my bed, wearing my shirt, your hair all over my pillow. You're a sap. Only with you. He kissed her nose. Hungry? I'll make breakfast. I could get used to this. Good, that's the plan. In the kitchen, as Dongwook cooked and Kiana stole pieces of fruit, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen and sighed. Business? Kiana asked. Always. He answered in Korean, his tone immediately shifting to command. The conversation was brief, terse. When he hung up, some of the softness had left his face. Problem. Small one. Nothing I can't handle. He plated eggs and rice, setting them in front of her. But I need to go out for a few hours, meeting with the families, establishing boundaries now that Taimin is gone. Be careful. Always. He kissed her forehead. You'll be here when I get back? Where else would I go? His smile was brilliant. Nowhere. You're mine now, remember. Possessive. Absolutely. After he left, flanked by his security team, Kiana stood on the balcony looking out at Manhattan. This city that had once felt like a prison now felt like possibility. Her phone buzzed, a text from Dongwook. Miss you already, she smiled, touching the tiger pendant at her throat. You just left 5 minutes ago. Your point? You're ridiculous. You love it. Kiana did. Against all logic, against all sense, she was falling in love with Dongwook's song. Maybe that made her foolish. Maybe it would end in heartbreak, but for now in this moment she chose happiness. Chose him. Chose to believe that sometimes broken people could build something beautiful together. Her phone buzzed again. Dinner tonight? Just us. I'll cook. You cooked breakfast. I like taking care of you. Get used to it. Kiana's chest tightened with emotion. Okay. I'll be here. Good. Because I'm not letting you go, Kiana Baptiste. Not now, not ever. That sounds like a threat. Dangerous man. It's a promise. Kiana stood in Dongwook's grandmother's restaurant, helping prepare banchan for the dinner rush. She'd been doing this every weekend, learning recipes, soaking up stories, becoming part of the family in ways that still surprised her. You're getting better, the grandmother said in Korean, which Kiana was slowly learning to understand. Soon you'll be as good as Dongwook. Never, Kiana replied in halting Korean, making the old woman laugh. The door opened and Dongwook entered with 2 of his men. But today there was something different in his expression. Lighter, more open. He crossed to Kiana, pulling her into a kiss that made his grandmother whistle and his men look away. Good meeting? Kiana asked when they broke apart. Excellent meeting. He touched the tiger pendant she still wore every day. I have news about going legitimate. Her breath caught. Really? Really? It'll take time. A year, maybe 2. But I'm starting the process. Transitioning power, laundering my businesses into legal enterprises. By the time I'm done, I'll just be a boring businessman. You could never be boring. No, he grinned. What if I want to be? What if I want boring weekends and normal problems and a life where you don't worry every time I leave the house? Then I'd say you're growing up, Dongwook Song. I'm trying. He cupped her face. For you, for us, for whatever future we're building. We're building a future. We are if you want to. Kiana thought about the past 3 months, the laughter and the fear, the danger and the joy, learning to be part of his world while maintaining her own identity. It hadn't been easy. Probably never would be. But it was real, and it was theirs. "Yes," she said, rising on her toes to kiss him. "I want to." His smile was like sunshine breaking through clouds. "Then let's see where this goes." And surrounded by the smell of kimchi and grandmother's approval, Kiana decided that sometimes the best love stories didn't end in marriage proposals or grand declarations. Sometimes they ended in simple promises. Let's see where this goes. Together. One day at a time. That was enough.